ORI games are the most aesthetically pleasing 2D platformers out there, and the newest game takes an average of 12 hours to complete. But today, we're going to complete the game in under 10 minutes on hard mode. But even though we've chosen to speedrun the game has decided to speedrun our feelings. So let's get started. The run starts out with a cutscene, but we can skip it by skipping prologue and then exiting out to the main menu. After getting up the small wall, we play the game normally by getting to the bridge that breaks, which causes us to fall. After getting up, we travel farther to the right. The fastest way to travel in this game is actually by jumping constantly, and every 3 jumps does a front flip, so that also makes it the most fun way to travel. Next, we drop down from a few branches and travel left until we reach the torch. This torch is the key to breaking the game. Now, we need to get back up to the beginning of this level, but the only way to do this is by using torch hover to get up the high branch. By attacking up and to the right, we can sort of glide, which allows us to get to higher places than intended. This first jump is super precise, so I do miss it a few times, but once I get it, we can run up the branches, and then travel on over to some more branches, jump up those, then we travel a bit further and make it back to where the bridge fell from earlier. Here will be the location of the second hover jump in order to make it back up the way we fell. This one is difficult, but slightly less precise, so we get it on the first try, and now there's one final hover jump. This one isn't as precise as the other two, so we can use side attacks too to go a bit faster. Now we are successfully back to the beginning of the game, but we have a torch. Next, we travel left rather than right in order to find a vine. This vine will allow us to skip hours of fun gameplay and amazing story, which is what speedrunning is all about. For this skip, we need to open the prologue and tab out of the game at a specific visual cue. Then we need to listen. One character will say Tongo, then another character says Gumo. And right after the Gu and Gumo, we tab back in and take control of Ori. If it's timed perfectly, we will now be out of bounds. If you mess up the timing, you can either be inbounds in a random spot of the game, or be too far down that you just fall into nothingness forever. But we get the correct timing, and now we need to make it super far to the left in order to fall into the final boss. Every time we use the torch attack, we move a little bit farther to the left, but we need to go pretty far down and to the left, so this part takes a long time. Like literally 3 minutes. We have very few visual cues, and falling to the correct location can be tricky, but we keep swiping left until we finally make it far enough to drop into the final boss. But not only that, we drop into an area that triggers the death scene for the final boss, so we don't even have to do any fun gameplay at all. But even though there aren't any more big skips, this is by far the hardest part of the run. We killed this big bird thing, and then it goes and uses its last energy to fly towards his parents' statue and dies with them. It's crazy depressing. I'm not sure why we killed this bird, but I'm sure it was justifiable, right? But this sad bird death isn't even the worst. Oh no. Ori is hurt, and now we have to participate in one of the saddest levels in video game history. This is not a cutscene. We need to push Ori through the pain in order to make it to the end. It's got super sad animations and sad music, and even though we've only spent 8 minutes with the spirit, it's devastating to watch and participate in. That's how ridiculously sad this level is. But I bet it's even worse if you play the whole game. Plus, since this is a speedrun, every attempt we do, we have to endure this level. But finally, Ori makes it to the end and completes the mission of saving the forest or something. And more importantly, we complete our Ori and the Will of the Wisps speedrun with a time of 8 minutes and 28 seconds, which is a pretty insane speedrun for a 12-hour game, but honestly, not as insane as this Skyrim marriage speedrun that uses a crazy speed glitch with a horse. Click here to check it out.